Hello, everyone. Today we will talk about working with loops and use cases to work with loops and when, why you would do that and all this kind of stuff. Let me share my screen and I'll start from some examples. Okay. So let us go as datatables.net. We'll use that as an example. Let's create a new test suite. And I'll explain why I picked this one specifically. Then I will be talking about it. So first, if we go to documentation, testRigor has a way to do some kind of loops right now that had been designed to reflect how you as a human talk about things and to cover the most important scenarios which usually arise during end-to-end tests. And for that we have, if you look on the left side of our documentation, there is a section saying loops, and there are examples to loops which illustrate two kind of types of syntax we would support for the loops, and they both are until loops. You can just say until certain condition is true, do something, or you can say do something up to n number of times until certain condition is true. And by default, I think the number of attempts would be up to 10. And however, you can specify a different number if needed. Moreover, you can not only do simple commands like click next or wait, for example, but you can also use rules in order to execute some blocks of code if something needs to be executed until certain condition is true. So now let's go into use cases. Why would you need it? Well, first of all, let's start from this page, and this page might be complex. It might take some time for it to load, and for that, we would basically need to wait, let's say, until the word showing is visible on the page. So let's do that. Test table. We need to scroll down and 1/2 over the screen, and then wait 1 second till page contains showing. Let's add and run and see how that is going to work. So one thing I would like to point out is in our example, which I'm about to show, it is excessive and not needed because testRigor will wait up to 30 seconds until your page loaded and contains information you need to proceed. So these waits only make sense in the situation where you need to wait for a long-running process. So some kind of a job which you're kicking off. For example, you click a button and some kind of long-running synchronization job kicks off, and that job might take several minutes. So testRigor default wait is not going to catch it. So but as you know, it will take some time. You can add this kind of wait until command, which will wait until certain condition will be true. So next example, and it looks like by the looks of it, we don't even need to scroll. It's just visible out there. The next example is pagination. So by default, testRigor works with whatever is visible on page. Let's say you want to go and find this person, and you don't know which page is it on. So you want to click next page until page contains this this person. So let us do that. We don't need to scroll, as I mentioned. And we don't even need that. So what we can do is we do click next until page contains, and then click that person. All right. So update and retest. And see how that's going to go. So basically it will find this and then it will expand it. So you can see the salary, you can actually do the validation for the salary at the end. And as you can see, it was chugging along. There was a second page, it was still clicking next until finally it reached the third page where it found the person, and then it clicked on it and we can validate the salary in there. Let's add that validation. And run it again. So basically, those are usually the scenarios where you might need to use this until loop. And those are, as you see, pretty straightforward. Now, very good, highlighted where it looks. Now, let me show you just how you would use more complex one. If you copy this, click next. Let's create a usable rule and call it go to the next page. Save. Oop. Okay, so now we have go to the next page and we want to modify our script. Instead of click next and use go to the next page. So basically in this particular case, you don't need the rule because it's trivial and it only contains one command. It's just more readable if you just have that command in there. However, if you need to perform several actions in order to get to the next page, that it might be helpful to just create this rule and execute sequence of commands until certain condition is true. Thank you very much.